So the last week I've been playing around with how we could componentize our architecture for the game.
Okay.
I added a little bit to the wiki. Um, if you want to go check out that page, it's just called
I
Framework
saw that,
Architecture.
yeah.
So
Oh, I need to check that out.
those are the main components that I figured we could pull out. Um, I was really busy with Bunny Hop the last week putting out the new version, so I didn't get a ton of work done, but I put a decent amount of thought into how we should do each of the following. Um,
Yeah.
Mate, that's good. That's just as important, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sweet.
I kind of tried to break down like the core concepts of what would be, um, like what parts there would be of an idle game. So we're gonna want some sort of event system, right? So like when a mission finishes, do something, or when you get a new unit, do something. Those type of
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Or even, like, when you get, like, a certain amount of money, like, you get, like, a special mission saying, "Oh, you gotta do this," or
Exactly.
yeah.
Um, Beyond that, we're gonna want a lot of tests because nobody's gonna play through the game from the start and figure out, if this thing is feasible.
Oh, okay. What do you mean tests? Like,
The test
testing
maybe
the game?
simulate that an hour goes by, showing you how long the game is going to take, or they test that you get the correct amount of money after doing something, right? Or maybe we
Oh,
add
okay.
some bit of randomization to something and we do a bunch of testing on it to see what it averages out to make sure that it doesn't like break the game.
Yeah, yeah.
So not only for balancing, but also to make sure it works.
Yeah, good
Uh,
idea. But how long is that going to take to actually write all the tests and stuff?
A decent while. That's why I'm hoping I can bring in
Yeah.
Mache from Bunny Hop because he's interested in tests.
Oh yeah.
so you'd
If
make
he's
like
up for it, mate, yeah, that'd be dope.
a bot that would sort of, in theory, just play the game for hours and hours and see what happens, or
Yeah, pretty much.
oh shit, that's cool.
But
I
it
guess he
would,
doesn't really play the game; it just
yeah,
computes like the functions and stuff.
yeah.
Okay,
You'd
yeah,
like simulate an hour has passed and add that much money.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's a good idea, man. Yeah, I still think we could probably start with some development regardless, right? Along like in parallel.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, that's fine.
like the event system doesn't rely on that at all.
Yeah,
Um, okay,
sweet,
so
sweet.
once we have unit test, we can look at a UI framework.
Yeah,
So to look at the UI framework, we're gonna want to work with. It looks like Fardine volunteered to help us with some of the UI.
I saw that, man. Yeah, the Ainsley Harriott. Yeah,
Um, I don't know if
his
Fardine is actually
profile
gonna have
picture.
the time because Fardine has already committed himself to quite a few projects. So I'm gonna have to check in with him
No,
and
that's
see what
fair play.
he's seeing. Because it
Even
might.
if he just says he could just look at it and be like, "Yeah, maybe you should just give us some pointers." That'd be enough.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Just like a one-time thing of him, pointing out things that we could do better. Because the UI doesn't really matter, right? Like it,
Exactly.
it could look ugly, and we could drop in the new UI later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah, I
the
don't think it's a big
design.
deal.
Yeah, he means like where everything's gonna be rather than the look of it, right?
Both.
Oh, okay, all right.
I guess like the user flow and yeah,
Yep.
or what? Yeah, but and yeah, aspects as well. But I think mainly we need someone to tell us like what's a logical way to lay things out. I guess.
Well, not only that, but
Mm.
like think for our messages, for example. Do we want like an email like a mail icon, or do we want a bell icon? Like, what response in the user's mind does that entail? Right. Those type of things are why
Right.
having a designer is great.
No,
Oh
that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. These are
They're things we
quite
don't even think
minute
about.
details, but yeah, exactly, man. Yeah,
yeah.
they're sort of
But
bring
they
up
If
do.
it
things.
But
if it
they do
looks
make
like
a
a
huge
notification
difference.
or a
No,
mail
they matter a
drop,
lot. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
Oh, that
I don't
makes
like to think
sense.
about those things, but designers do. So we'll get one of them to help us. Um,
Oh, hello.
Sweet.
so after the UI framework, I don't know if we're really gonna need a UI framework to start. That might be
Mhm.
way longer down the road. Because I'm thinking we just start with the normal Unity UI, and then whenever the new UI system finalizes and comes out, we can move over to that. I was thinking we could make a
Yeah.
framework for large numbers, right? Like, what happens if we have something with like something to the thousandth power, or it has 10,000 zeros behind it. Integer and float and
Oh, okay.
whatnot. Those data types literally aren't big enough to hold that much data, right? So I was thinking about maybe
Uh, yeah.
something that would it would hold like infinitely large numbers, and it would also give you like scientific notation for it, or it would print out like, maybe 1 to the power of 100 spits out A, 1 to the power of 101 gives you B, and so on and so on.
Sure, you just like store it as a string or something. A string with like scientific notation. Right? I don't know, what do people normally do for that? Like,
I don't know.
Guys, sorry, I'm you guys are
but yeah,
breaking up.
fair
I'll
enough. It's a good
go
thing to look into.
upstairs and hook up from there, and I'll be right back. Give me like 2 minutes.
Yeah, don't worry. That's a good point. I didn't consider that. But there must be like an easy solution for that. I would have thought. But,
The only one that I know of off the top of my head is big integer in C#.
well, that's bigger than long, is it?
It's freaking massive. I think it can go. Yeah, it represents an arbitrarily large integer.
Oh shit, boys!
So I have to figure out how
so
to use that.
it dynamically resizes.
That's what it looks like. I assume it just, smashes 2 integers together if it gets too big, and then smashes 3 integers together, and so on.
Yeah. That's funny as fuck. I was thinking about the. Maybe I should wait till Pete gets back, but yeah. I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I was thinking about the analytics. And I thought we could have some like bar graphs for the for like sort of time series data, right? And so for like your revenue and sort of like like quarterly revenue or something. All right, mate. And yeah, I was thinking.
Oh yeah.
Hey, boss. Yeah, you good? I thought it'd be cool to have
yeah.
like a sort of real time thing. So like when you complete a mission, the bar like sort of rises basically. You add like a vector to the transform of like a mesh that represents like the bar on the graph, and then you just like add the y-axis, increase that, and then you have this like rising bar. Like as you complete a mission, you're like the bar graph for your revenue
Like-
sort of goes up. It'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, like in the main sort of UI.
Yeah, or in the tab, or yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, I thought you could have a dashboard somewhere on the screen. That'd be pretty sick. But then if we're going for a tab-based layout, we might just have it in the tab. But you could just you could be looking at the tab, and then if one of your missions completes, then it would like responsively update or something. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's cool. I tried to sort of like test it out in Unity, but I was having a problem with the. I kind of got it to work, but it was a really like hacky way of doing it because you have to change it from overlay mode if you want to put a 3D object on the canvas, right? You have to change it
You don't have
to like screen space and then set a camera on it, right?
You could make a render texture.
Oh yeah.
Render texture basically takes whatever a camera would see and renders it to a texture, so you could put it on an image. So you could like make like a.
God damn.
Yeah, it would be kind of complicated.
No, that's good. That's good. That sounds like an easier way because I was doing that and then I had to set up the camera, but then when I played the game, then suddenly like the UI layer was like way bigger than the rest. I think because I set the you have like the prominence or like there's like a
Sorry.
You set like an integer value for like what gets seen in the camera, what's in front of the others. I don't know. I didn't set it up correctly, but it just seemed like you had to fiddle around with a lot of stuff to actually get it to look right. But your way sounds like the mesh, the texture mesh. I need to look into that, but I didn't see that anywhere. I was looking online, and most people just said that you change it from overlay or whatever.
If you don't know what to Google, it can be a real pain.
Yeah, how to phrase it's so true. Yeah, and also a lot of times people they answer like the general sort of questions, but if you've got like a really specific thing, it's quite hard.
Yeah, a lot of times I just I give up and like I talk to Google. It's like, Google, how do I do like I like ask a question, and usually that goes like to a forum where someone's asked like a similar thing before.
And that is almost always the case with Unity because there's so many people that use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. So yeah, I thought we could have a pie chart as well for like, because there's different missions. I thought we could have a pie chart that had like the
How
percentage
much
of
money
like
you're
each
making from
mission you
each
did.
mission?
Yeah. Or yeah, no, that could be good actually. I thought just first just have a pie chart that's like how many of each mission you've done basically, and then it can sort of tell you like your sort of play style, or if there's different like types of missions, then it
Oh
would
yeah,
say
yeah.
like you're leaning towards this more, like this type of mission more, or something. It would tell you like kind of,
Yeah, like if you're like if you take more risks depending on like the mission, or if you're like playing it safe. Yeah, man.
yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. I think that'd be pretty cool to
Yeah.
see like kind of like what you've been
I was
leaning towards.
I was thinking also, do we like once you I don't know, like you buy a ship, you hire a pilot kind of thing. Do we factor in, and I know I'd like tell me if this is going to be like too much of a headache, but do we factor in like fuel costs, or the like how much a pilot gets from each job or something? Like do we not mention
Well,
that at
like
all, or
outgoings kind of thing. Yeah, I mean
yeah,
you could
yeah.
include it in the if you it would be pretty cool to put that stuff into there, but I don't know. You
Yeah,
could
I
just
don't.
include it in the cost in the return of the mission, I suppose. But
Yeah, because I think like obviously like buying the ships or hiring a pilot once, you do get that cost and you can include that. But I think maybe you don't have to include it mechanically, just like as flavor text or something. Like, oh, for every run you play the pilot like such and such, and so for
yeah,
example, if a run is you make $10 from a run, you can just say that like actually made 15, but you had to pay the pilot something. But like that's not like
yeah. I got you. You have like a net profit from the mission, don't you?
yeah. And because I think some of the upgrades could be like for example,
Oh,
making a
like
ship more fuel efficient.
yeah,
So
and
you
reduce the
spend
cost of like yeah. I like that.
yeah
And then you wouldn't need it'd be more economical or whatever, so you get more of the you take a bigger cut or whatever from the mission.
yeah.
That's pretty
So
dope.
like
Yeah.
or like increase the capacity of the ship, and then you can take more shit to like a planet and
When you get a pilot, do you think you pay him a salary, or do you just pay like an upfront cost?
yeah, that's what I was wondering, because I think
I guess that's kind of what you said,
um
but like not on a mission
yeah,
basis. I meant more like a kind of you pay him like periodically or something.
it could be like a salary. Like that's an
It'd be kind of
idea.
cool.
Yeah,
Again, they
or it could be like
could be
if
complicated. But...
yeah, like if you're picking like resumes, I think like the
Oh yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, I remember you talking about it the other day.
yeah, and then like one of them is more sort of expensive to hire, but like he's got higher stats, or like he's more combat ready, so he can take on like riskier missions or something. But
Yeah,
I
I like
don't
it.
know.
I
Like
like it.
that's up to, because I'm trying to think how this would sort of balance the game. Like if it's an ongoing thing, maybe having it be salaries would be interesting, because then you can hire more. Like it's not because ships you only buy once, but then maybe the pilots you need to keep paying.
Like a
So that's like two
contract.
different. Yeah. Like he'll be like
Yeah,
or yeah, actually,
I
like
like that.
now that you mentioned contract, like
You could say he's
maybe
good for
that's
1,000 missions after paying X amount.
yeah, because you bought the ship and then he's just like the pilot on it, and then you can kind of if you want to rehire him, which is might be a good deal or not, based on, because like he'll gain experience from flying, and once the contract is done, you can either hire someone else, level them up, or like rehire them, or like you have to renegotiate like your contract or
So
something. Yeah, I like that.
what I'm thinking for
Mate,
the
that's sick.
pilots
Yeah,
when they level up, okay, so they're going to come from different factions, right? And they're going to have their own bonuses, right? So you get like, I don't know, when you at level 1 you get a pilot that gives you, I don't know, plus 20% to I don't know, risky missions or something. And as he levels up,
Yeah.
that passive goes to 30%, 40%, 50%, and so on, Whereas like if you were to get a later on in the game, maybe you find a guy that's already like level 100, or you find a guy that's only level 1 but he has like 3 traits, and if you level him up, he may be worth more in the long run.
Yeah, it's all
That's
about
cool.
sort of, and I like how you build these weird little relationships with your pilots, and then like maybe like you have your pilot that's stuck with you like through since the beginning, but then you don't want to let him go because you're going to attach to him or something, even though he's not the best sort of.
Maybe you could
send
maybe you could send them to like a training school to add another passive effect to them.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like
That's
you like when they
Send them
level
to
up,
uni.
you have to kind of choose what skill they level up, or like
How they specialize or something.
Yeah. So you tell him to be like, okay, I want you to gain an extra point in evasive maneuvers or whatever, and then that'll be like where you invest on that guy.
I think it'd be cool to have like a star map to like show all of the in process deliveries, like in like a galaxy, like mapping out the galaxy and showing where everybody's at.
Oh, like where
yeah.
everything's. Oh shit.
Actually where they are currently on their route.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be fucking amazing. Yeah, I guess that'd
Wait,
be
like
kind of expensive,
geographically,
but
or how much progress, like
Geographically, so you
yeah.
literally see their like route between star systems and whatnot.
Like a little
Oh,
GPS tracker for all
that'd be
pilots.
cool, man.
Fucking amazing.
I'd have to draw a galaxy, but that'd be fun, I think.
I was thinking about the
that'd be
contracts. We could have what is it? If the contract hasn't expired yet, you could actually sell your pilot's contract to someone else, and just NPC obviously, and then you could have like a pilot auction or something where like based on like the performance of your pilot, if he's performed really well, his value kind of goes up, and you can sell him to someone else. Or if he does really shit, then his value goes down, and then
Yeah.
you kind of just want to get rid of him or just keep him on and train him more. Or something.
Yeah, no, if you keep screwing up runs and like losing the cargo and stuff, you could be like, buddy, it's not working out, is it? And then you just have to let him go.
Just execute him. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So there's stuff you could do, I think, with the I think that contracts idea is actually pretty fun. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Fucking dope,
I like
man.
that. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking for my tasks for the week.
Oh yeah.
I guess draw a galaxy. Start with that.
I'd rather plan out the core, like the galaxy map would be cool, but I'd rather plan out the core stuff that we know we're gonna do, like
Okay, yeah.
think about all the possible bonuses that people could have and assign them to different factions, and then if we're gonna do the like adding more passage to them by like sending them to school or whatever, think about like, I don't know, there's like 4 different schools you can send a pilot to, and you can send all your pilots to the same school to get the same passive if you want it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like different training centers. So like you have one school that specializes in combat, and you can kind of send them there and stuff.
Yeah, and one of them that specializes in, I don't know, handling a ship so it makes all of your routes faster or something.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah, like
so
a company-wide
becomes
passive.
a lot. So then, like, I think upgrading becomes more about the pilots than the ships.
It could,
or do we do both?
I think it
You
would
could
be.
be both, I suppose.
I think it'd be cool to have 3, like in idle games. You want to have as many different possibilities for people to do things as possible, right? So we'd have pilots that would be able to get upgrades, and they get upgrades in XP as they do missions. You'd have the ships that you can assemble their parts, and then you'd have like company-wide bonuses that you could like hire managers or whatnot to help you manage fleets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that would allow you to
'Cause
like
I'm
at each
thinking,
level of the game, have full control over how it works.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like you get like the upgrades that are just sort of like you level up. So, I don't know, like a ship's engine makes it go faster. But then there are 2 kinds of things you can put in a ship. You have these like incremental sort of level up little aspects, but then you also have like perks or augmentations. So like, and these are like maybe more unique. So like you get like a better fuel converter or something, and you only get like one of those in the game. So you have to like pick what ship you have to put it in, and then each ship has like 3 slots. So you put that part in, and then that becomes like a deeper level of customization, like because you already have the sort of the level up, just sort of pouring money or resources in, and like you get higher defenses or higher or better engines, but then you get like I don't know, like better controls, a better control module or something, and then in the ship, that will give the ship like 20% more chance of dodging enemy fire or something. Like have it be these 2 kinds, and I guess for pilots it would be like the same. We could have this sort of I don't know, like if a pilot reaches level 5, this specific pilot has this perk, which is like smuggler or something, like which is hidden to the player, but once you reach level 5 it becomes like, oh, you get a special perk for smuggler, so you can take extra like illegal items or something like that. So we'd have 2 kinds of upgrades for 2 kinds of things, for ships and pilots. Then is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so you just passively gain things, but you also get to have some choice over the things that you actually want to gear yourself towards.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need some choice, or you'll get bored out of your mind. You need as much ways to like tinker with things as possible, really, as many.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know
Sorry.
how whether to make all that stuff available at the start, or whether you just have to, you don't get many choices initially, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think the way I've kind of storyboarded it is sort of you start with 1 ship and 1 pilot, and so it gives you like a chance to get to know like a pilot. So okay, you get to do a first few missions, you don't have that many choices, but then like you level up a bit, and then a perk appears, and he explains like, oh well, I didn't know I had this perk, and etc. etc. And oh, now I've got a blueprint for a navigation system that we can augment on this ship, and that's different from just upgrading the engines, kind of thing. Like, I think if we start
Yeah.
basic with just 1 ship, or because I think everything we introduce is a new gameplay element that we need to tutorialize the player in. So
Yeah.
so we think, okay, how, if we're gonna introduce the training schools, how are we doing that? Like, at what point do we do that? Because that's another thing as well. Like, we don't want to like, there's a learning curve. We don't want to introduce everything in. We do want to keep some stuff, like pace the game in a way that like you're introducing new mechanics and new things for the player to deal with on a steady basis. Like, eventually we do want the player to sort of get the swing
Steady
that,
pace.
okay, hey.
God damn. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
No, yeah, but we do want to like we do want the player to reach a point where he's like, okay, I've dominated all the mechanics in the game. Now I'm just gonna show off. Now I'm like just gonna expand like my little company empire and whatever. But
Yeah.
I think for the average player, and those are the more hardcore players, I think, but for the average player, we do have to balance out kind of, so you do a few missions and it's like, okay, well, I think I get the hang of this. Like, you send a thing on missions, and then this new mechanic appears, like, oh, you can upgrade. Okay, so this adds another level of strategy. And then you do that for a while until the player is comfortable with this new mechanic, and then you introduce another one. So you keep the player kind of hooked on this sort of introducing of new mechanics, but like up until, I guess, like the half point of the game, where like we've introduced enough mechanics for the player to develop their own style, and because we don't want to tutorialize them forever, but now they have like enough stuff that they can express themselves through the mechanics. So I want a combat heavy fleet, so I can take on most of the dangerous jobs or something.
Well, yeah, they got to learn like what the different the landscape, and then they can decide commit to something. And the first part is like familiarizing themselves and like seeing what they actually like about what their sort of niche is or whatever.
Yeah. I think the trick is just that kind of feeding them long enough. No, sorry, it's just feeding them just enough new mechanics to be like, in the first however many hours of gameplay, they'll be like, oh, okay, well, this is new. I've unlocked something new, and you keep them hooked, kind of thing.
Oh shit!
Were you reacting to what he said? I'm
No,
assuming not.
I just
I'm assuming
realized
you just found something epic.
I just realized I'm recording this meeting at a really high file quality, so this file's going to be fucking massive.
Oh, well, that's even better for Nikos, mate. He's in for a treat.
No, I was doing it for the trailer that I made for Bunny Hop yesterday. Because I wanted it to be at 1080p and 60 FPS. So this file is going to be like 10 gigs, and it's going to take forever to upload to YouTube.
Can you not downscale it?
Not after the fact that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never tried, but.
Have you put the trailer up already?
Yeah.
Oh, just upload. Can you? Just take just slice the audio or something, and just upload that.
Probably, yeah.
I guess.
We haven't really used any
might
of
be a way
the
around
screen
it.
recording.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we might not need to.
Anything else for this meeting? Do we feel like we're on track?
Dude, I think we just need more. Because I know we had some research stuff we were going to do, but maybe we assign some more stuff, so people know what they need to do. Or are we not at that point yet where we can actually like delegate stuff? I don't know. The UI we haven't really decided on, have we? So I don't know what.
Yeah, I was gonna try my hand at like making the tickets for like UI stuff, but I don't think not sure like who I'd assign it to.
You don't assign it to somebody. People pick up the ticket that they want to do.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, you could if you wanted to, but like.
You could if you wanted to be the boss. Yeah, if you could just make some tickets and then people just pick them up, and just write a little description or something of what you expect.
Yep. Now that Bunny Hop version is done, I will be getting a lot more work done on this.
Oh, cool. I got to check out that trailer, man. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
I want to look at your tickets, to be fair.
What?
I want to see if there's anything kind of like.
Can I stop this recording, or is there anything else that we should give for Nikos?
Other than just like maybe tell him what he needs to do, but I guess he can just like decide and look at the GitHub. So no, probably not.
Yep. So for any of the investigation tickets, what I want you guys to do is go into the wiki and make a page for whatever the decision is, or what you found, right?
Oh, okay.
So that way it's written down somewhere.
The little report, yeah.
Yep. But other than that, yeah, Nikos should be able to just grab whatever tickets Stefano makes and be able to get to work.
Awesome, cool. I'll update the lore wiki and get on the tickets today then.
Sweet. All right, I'll stop the recording, then we can chit chat.
Good man.
Okay.